cylindrical-shaped object giving off a phosphorescent glow.
Yes, sir.
Was to be sighted in the night sky.
A cigar-shaped object, like a symmetrical airfoil.
The UFO is described as a long cylindrical object with a white light on the front and a long green comet tail. The strange UFO is also seen by British Airways Flight 226, a 747 flying from London.
Or about 300 feet long. His report further described the UFO as being cigar-shaped or cylindrical and with what appeared to be glowing portholes.
But what came onto the screen was amazing. It was a culmination of all my efforts. It was a picture of something that definitely wasn't man-made. It was above the Earth's hemisphere. It was kind of looked like a satellite. It was cigar-shaped. It had geodesic domes above, below, to the left, to the right, and both ends of. And although it was a low-resolution picture, it was very close up. This thing was hanging in space. The Earth's hemisphere was visible below it. And no rivets, no seams, none of the stuff associated with normal man-made manufacturing.
And what's up? David here for the Wild Signal, back at it again. And today I want to bring you a few stories from Secret Machines of Book 2, A Fire Within. The latest book by Tom DeLonge and Mr. A.J. Hartley. You know, they put these books out, and it's supposed to be, you know, fiction wrapped in fact and all these different things in here. And I do notice the storyline. And like to say, the last book, it was really good. They had some, you know, they dropped some facts in there. They dropped some facts. So I'm noticing the storylines and things like this. And they keep mentioning of cigar-shaped crafts. In this book. So what I did, I went ahead and marked out some of the stories, some of the things that I noticed in the comparison. So I just go ahead and I start reading like this. So it says, this is Alan and his co-pilot. They were sent out on a mission, and when they got to the mission, this is what they have. This is what they encountered. We have company, flight control, said Alan. Approximately 2 miles dead ahead. Contact is shrouded, but giving off enough data that we have a fix. Appears to be artificial. Some 300 feet long and roughly cigar-shaped. Physical dimensions resemble a dirigible or airship, but the surface is deflecting radar. Sensors are conflicted as to whether the object is solid, added Hastings, except that it's not quite it. It's more like they can't decide if it's really there, like it doesn't clearly inhabit conventional space. So that's one of the first mentions that we get in here of a cigar-shaped craft. And when it says if it's not really there or not, and you're going to hear that, you know, a few more times and things like that, I don't know if this is a new stealth or, you know, or is it a dimensional craft? I have no idea. You know, I'm just reading and seeing what we can make out of it. Of course, I have my own thoughts, but I'll read another page right here. So, this is page 431, and it goes like this. Even in suppressed panic of the moment, that struck Alan as strange. But then the locust windows suddenly filled with the nose of the great cylindrical craft, shimmering into dim reality in front of him, and everything else went out of his mind. On the display, it had looked like an elongated oil drum, its sides segmented and marked with irregularities. That could have been windows, sensors, or power ports. The ends had looked flat, but they were now revealed under the pale light of the moon to be rounded like the tip of a bullet. And see here, we have it again, coming in and out in that bright light as if it's portaling there. You know, like a Stargate or a jump. I don't know what you would want to call it, but it's not, you know, it's not driving up. You know, it is winking in and out of existence right there in front of their face. So I like how they like that. And again, a cigar-shaped craft. A cigar-shaped craft. Then we have it again on page 436 with Allen and Hastings. He goes, the nose of the cigar craft had blossomed into a radiance like sun, into a radiance like sunset that swelled till it filled the windows, growing bright and hot enough that it turned yellow-white, and the two men flinched away, shielding their eyes. And then it was gone, the light and the craft. You know, there we go again. It's portaling, it's opening up a hole, it's traveling through dimensions, whatever word you want to put in and fill that in. That's what the craft is doing. It's bright light appears, then boom, then it's gone. You know, then it's gone and stuff. So then we have a mention right here, and I like this one right here because I think this story is going to get deeper right here. This is a story about Henry Hank Babish. This one right here, what year was it? This is the military. It involves the military in 1962, which you're going to be hearing more about this story, this particular story, how it goes on in the book. I'm going to be bringing you more from this one. But since this involved the cigar-shaped craft, I wanted to bring it to you right now. So this is a military exercise or an event in 1962, and it goes. It was dark outside now, or it should have been, but the deck was bathed in a blue-green luminescence that pulsed like a living thing. The light came from above, a great shimmering craft, roughly blimp-shaped but metallic and segmented and long as a football field. I like the descriptions of it being segmented, of it being like an oil drum, elongated, all these things like what Gary McKinnon witnessed when he went and hacked into NASA, and he's seen all these reports we get of these cigar-shaped craft, these elongated craft with these sensors or rows of windows or lighted windows and stuff like that. We get these reports throughout time, and I'm glad Tom DeLonge was putting them in his book, because we know that he has the advisors, like Grant Cameron said, if you believe, listen, if you believe Hillary should be locked up and you believe all those emails, then believe what it said about the UFOs and stuff in those emails. So Tom DeLonge is getting this information from somebody. A.J. Hartley is not just going to put this stuff in this book and say, hey, you know, I'm sure it's being vetted. And we know that Luis Elizondo was working with him. And I like what Lou Elizondo said in his Italy presentation. We're witnessing craft that are built to fly in a vacuum, but are operating in atmosphere and at high speeds way in excess of what they should be, because if they had wings, it'd be ripped off. And he's letting you know we're witnessing craft. He mentioned submarine and all kind of stuff. These things are traversing air, land, and sea, or should I say air and sea, the same way as they do a vacuum. And I'm sure, you know, some of the shapes that they're witnessing are cigar-shaped crafts. So, you know, I like that the fact that they're putting this information in the book, because I'm sure that some of this information is coming from the source. It's not coming from Tom DeLonge and his mind. I'm sure it's coming from the source, which would be Luis Elizondo and the other advisors that they mentioned that he had and whoever else was out there. So, again, we have mentions of the craft. Now, this one, I believe, is in the 60s. This is about a family that, this is in Hull, England. Okay, at first there was a sighting in 1909 in Hull, England. So the descendants of this man witnessed it also in 1967 in Hull, England. And it goes, when the object appeared over the bare and scraggy trees of Sutton Park, it was long and thin and silver, like a series of oil drums connected to the end, but massive, 50, 60 yards long or more. It was hard to tell. It had lights at both ends, and some along a line in the middle. That might have been windows. You know, the same description of the same type craft, which I think is pretty cool. You know, I would love to see real video, real tape of what these crafts look like. There's some out there. There's one out there if you want to see if it's legit. And I'm not making the assumption whether it's our crafts or not or whatever, but there are some tapes, there are some videos, there are some pictures of these crafts, and it's up to you to see what you think. And I like this one right here. This is the last one involving the characters in the book. It says, the situation Kenyon had woken him for took the form of a familiar cigar-shaped object that had winked into being directly over Papoose Lake, precisely at 0300 hours, winking into existence. So not only is the shape they're giving us, but that these things are portaling in, they're just winking into existence. You know, they're not like, oh, we see it incoming, inbound. No, it's there. It just suddenly appears. It materializes. We know we have, there were some older pictures of craft materializing right in front of the people's faces and stuff like that. So here we have this craft is materializing, you know, right there in front of the face. Right there in front of the radars, right there over Papoose Lake, it's materializing. It's winking into existence. I like how they put that right there. You know, maybe it's more clues. Maybe we'll learn more and stuff. So they have another one right here. Now, this one was reported widely by the news. This one is real. I like how they put this in the book. The date was correct. July 7, 2010, Hangzhou, China, over the airport. They put that in. They probably changed the captain's name. It says Captain Liu. But, I mean, bam, right there. That really happened. July 7th, 2010, Hangzhou, China. And if you're familiar with that, that's when the cigar-shaped craft was over the airport. So in his book, he puts it, Lou saw the lights of the cigar-shaped cylinder oscillate, and a beam of light opened up along his length, splashing the runway below with a startling radiance. And this really happened. Now, whether they want to attribute to a certain government or not, or whose craft it is, we have no idea, but that really happened over Hangzhou, China, if I'm pronouncing it right. So you can go back and take a look at that. I'm sure I'll be putting some pictures up of that event. But yeah, so I noticed that as the book moves along, it was a lot of cigar-shaped oil drums, segmented, giving these descriptions. Then you can match to other people over time giving the same descriptions. And like I said, I'm pretty sure his information is coming in from a well-vetted source. It's not him just sitting there writing this stuff down. I'm sure Mr. Hartley has to vet these sources. And I'm sure I would love to know how many conversations Mr. Hartley had with Elizondo and other guys like that, because he has to be getting a good source. Because how they say the book is, fiction wrapped in fact, and it's a conundrum and all that good stuff like that. And it seems to be. We have real stories sprinkled in there. The one I'm really interested in is the military story of Hank Babish and stuff like that. I'll be bringing you more of that with Operation Starfish Prime. But yeah, that's just some of the things I'm doing. So go ahead and check it out. If you're reading the book, more power to you. If you're not, I'll be bringing you more stories about the book so you can see what you think. So, man, I love you all. Wish you the best. Click like, subscribe, share with your friends. Have a good time, and I'm out.